Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So a couple things. First of all, I might have to take Monday off of my routine scheduling time or posting schedule, because for some reason Mondays are just really hard for me to get things done, especially when it comes to videos. And so, sorry, the door closed. But for some reason it's just really hard for me to find time in Monday to do that. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Also, I'm talking in a low, like a soft talking voice as opposed to whispering, because I don't know, my throat just kind of hurts, and I feel like whispering, like, it almost forces it, which sounds like the opposite. I don't really know. I just felt like soft talking day, so that's what we're gonna do. And I'm going to find some things to tap on, and I just kind of want to yap. So definitely more of a, like, not for sleep kind of video, but just yapping. And yeah, so yesterday I was with my friends. I went to a blood drive to donate blood, and if you have the means and are able to, I highly recommend donating blood. It's for a very good cause. It saves lives, and you can actually learn a lot about yourself. You can learn your blood type, you can learn about the things in your blood, which is really interesting. It's just a little pinch, and definitely hydrate and eat and everything before you do it, because I almost passed out a couple times. But it's also just one of those things where it's like, I mean, everyone responds to it differently, everyone like deals with it in certain ways, but it is for a good cause and it does save lives. So if you are ever able to, I highly recommend going to a local blood drive. Sorry about that door. But yeah, and so anyways, I was with some friends when we did that, and then after that we got some food, hung out a little bit, and then it really was crazy last night the way things ended up. But I ended up going with one of the girls, and mind you, we had just like had our first conversation with each other yesterday, and through that spent like 5 to 6 hours together talking about this crazy like these philosophical questions of the universe, and kind of coming up with our own answers for things, which was really interesting. And I actually we saw both of our first shooting stars right after our pinky promise. Isn't that interesting? We were talking about how neither of us had seen a shooting star before, because we were stargazing at one point. And I was like, yeah, actually, like, Halley's Comet is supposed to come like in our lifetime, theoretically. We'll be like 60s, 70s, something like that. And she was like, dude, that's crazy. And she was like, we have to see it together. And she put out her pinky, and we pinky promised. And we looked up, and there was a shooting star. And like, there's plenty of ways to read into that, but I think personally I'm choosing to believe that that was a sign of some sort. And then we talked about that for genuinely hours. Like, we started hanging out, I guess, at that point after the blood drive at like 6:20, and when I got back to my dorm it was around 1 a.m. So it was quite an adventure. It was very fun, and I love meeting new people. College is like the best time for that. And every time I meet someone new, there's always someone else that I'm gonna meet. And to think that, like, I met her through someone who like a week ago I didn't know, and I met her through that person's friend. So it's like, it's crazy how it works out. But I think that's part of what's really cool about life and just existence, is like meeting people, and you know, the whole idea of like, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Beautiful Boy reference, the song. But yeah, I think it's really cool how that all works out, and like the fact that we talked about all these things, and we had like these great conversations, and like I have a genuine like new outlook on life with like what existence is. It would take way too long to explain it in this video, but yeah, just like as a general sense, like it was very cool. And yeah, and I think life just in general has been pretty chill recently, low-key. Partially due to being medicated now. It's a huge help, but I do think that outlook really helps, and I think kind of like nature, the idea of nature and how that all plays into it, it's very neat. It's very interesting. And yeah, so there's that. I mean, there's so much more I could say, but that's just like the general, like, basic surface level version. But yeah, I'm very happy with how my life is going, and I'm very excited. I've had a lot of things happen recently that have just low-key been like really good, and that's really good, really fantastic. And my future roommate and I, we got the room that we wanted, or a room that we wanted for our dorm next year, which is fantastic. I got accepted into my minor, which I'm very excited about, and soon I should be accepted into my major, which is even more exciting. I picked my classes soon, which is exciting but also very stressful. Anyone who's in college or knows the stress of having to pick classes, you get it. But if I do get the classes I want, I'm very excited because I think it will be a good schedule if I'm able to get them. So that's very exciting. And then the shooting star thing, I think, is just going to live in my brain for a while. I wrote a poem about it, as I write a poem about everything, but there's also a lot of other poem ideas I have. I wrote my first slam poem that I haven't written a slam in a hot minute, so that was very fun. And yeah, I think I'm just kind of really excited for what's about to go on. My finals week, my roommate and I have like a bit of a silly plan that I cannot share yet because it's kind of a surprise. So I'm very excited about that. Excited for summer, low-key, to, you know, get a job. I'm still waiting to hear back from places, but to have another job and have another income, very excited about that. Getting the fish, I'm getting a fish for my dorm next year, and just like hanging out with my friends that I haven't seen in a while, and my future roommate because we live very close, and just getting to plan for next year and kind of just like figure stuff out. And it's really good to finally be able to like sit and just think about life and not, and yes, there's scary things about it, and there's fear and there's anxiety, but there's also a sense of excitement, and I haven't felt that in a really long time, and so it's very nice to be able to experience that again, for sure. This is my best friend, by the way, Amelia. Shout out if you're watching. But I think that there's a lot to be said for philosophy and poetry and how all of them connect. And it's really sad as well how people just don't think about that anymore, you know? Like, obviously there's a lot of things. It's hard to say what's been said or thought before, especially with the people that never really shared, even though they had great insight. Because we really don't know if the things we think have ever been thought before. But it's kind of sad that there's just like an overall general sense, or a lack of a general sense of philosophical thought, because so many people, like, they just rely on AI just to do their daily homework. Like, they, you know, they don't think about anything, they just do. And it's really sad, and to think about, like, you know, why, just like on Earth, that happens, especially in America. But it is also very interesting to think about, because, you know, so long ago they had no answers, and they found some. But did they find some, or did they just come up with it to reason? Because we as humans are very, you know, reasonable creatures. We try to find meaning in things, whether there's meaning there or not. And so it's an interesting concept to think of, like, the decline of that and why. Because there's probably a reason and meaning for that too. Be it power, greed, hunger, wealth. There's so much to our existence, and it so often goes like for granted, or like understood, under investigated, under researched. Yeah, I don't know. I know it probably seems like the things I'm saying are just like so basic and cliche, and like, yeah, they've been said a million times before, and yes, like, yeah, definitely. But like, I'm just doing like the basic, like the surface level of my thoughts and everything. I have so much to say, but you know when you like have so much to say that you have nothing to say because you don't even know where to start, and like there's just so much that could be said, and it's just like, it's kind of where I'm at right now. But yeah, I've been writing a lot of poetry recently, and I actually kind of feel bad because I did skip my poetry society meeting yesterday, partially because I was exhausted, or not yesterday, Monday, partially because I was exhausted, partially because I had stuff to do, like work and everything like that. But I don't know, I think sometimes it's important to just take time for yourself and just think about it, you know. And it can be scary, you know, if it brings you anxiety, obviously don't think about it as much as you can. But, you know, I think just kind of taking time to think about, like, sit down and think about and talk about your thoughts on the world and the universe and existence, I think it's I think it's healthy. I think it's good because it kind of keeps you in check as far as like, at the end of the day, the things that we find big deals universally don't matter. Universally, our galaxy, like our solar system doesn't matter. And like you think of like, it's like, and there's no way for the human mind to comprehend it, which is even more fascinating because we're trying to make sense of things that we physically can't, and we're aware that we can't make sense of it. And that's almost like way kookier because it's like we're trying to understand something with the knowledge that we can't. Like it's just weird, but we still try because that's just in our nature. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I think it's important sometimes to just kind of think about where you stand on all of those things because it's interesting, and it's like, I think it's just a part of life, and just being able to be like, yeah, this is what I believe, this is what I don't believe, this is what I don't know, and that's okay. It's okay to not know things. I think it's important to not know things because that's where growth happens. It's where you learn things. I think it's very important. But the saying that I said, and I'm sure it's been said before by someone somewhere, but I was just trying to explain my thought process, which is very difficult, especially when you can't make sense of it in the first place, and then you're trying to translate it into words. Which is another thing we talked about. We talked about everything, I swear to God. But I said, like, it just is. We just are. And when we were talking about something else, I said, and isn't that so beautiful? Or maybe she said, isn't that so beautiful? And I said, and isn't that so tragic? And so that actually became like my new TikTok bio, which is really funny. It's, we just are, it just is, isn't it beautiful, isn't it tragic? And I think that's beautiful, and I think if I could write a song, if I could learn how to sing and maybe play guitar. I play bass guitar, but it doesn't have the same effect. If I could learn how to play an instrument like that, and not, you know, like something that would be like acoustic guitar, like learn to play piano well. I can play, but not very well. I could write like a song, like I could write lyrics, find a melody, and perform it. I think that'd be really cool. I think it'd be really interesting. Because I wrote the poem about it, but there's no like melodic sense, you know. But ultimately, my belief is that songs are just poems put to music. So it's not to say it could never happen. Sleepy all of a sudden. I chugged this Red Bull. I mean, we did stay up until like 1 a.m. last night, but like, even with the Red Bull, I'm like, ooh, cannot be doing that again. I'm gonna pass out. That's why I'm excited for summer, actually, the main reason, because I can't wait to go to sleep. Sleep in as much as I can, you know, with a job. Might not be as much as I hope, but I love sleeping. Alright guys, I apologize for the shorter, not best quality at all, like 4 trigger video, but hoping to figure out my schedule, just figure out what the hell's going on, because unfortunately Mondays are just kind of a bad day. But I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. We are finally halfway there, so close, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a great one.